and welcome to episode 96 of 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews, the podcast where we take a random movie from Metacritic's all-time movie list. This is Colin.
This is Niall.
This is Random Movie 849. It's Easy Rider from 1969. Runs for 1 hour 35 minutes. Got a Metascore of 85. User score of 7.3. Budget 360 to 400K. 90% of that was on dope.
A little bit of coke as well, probably. We don't talk about not the drinking type either.
No. Box office of 60 mil. Massive success.
That's good return on investment there.
Yeah, so I read, and you kind of get this vibe throughout the entire movie that it's pretty much ad-libbed and ad hoc and all the other ads that you can think of.
Which is great, because some of the dialogue is kind of interesting.
Well, again, it's not surprising to read that, yes, they are smoking weed for real throughout the entire movie.
For realsies, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing they don't do is drop the acid in the graveyard at the end. They just sort of act for that part.
That's probably good, considering how high they got in that scene.
Yeah, that was pretty...
It's
a bad trip, man.
Yeah. That was some strange ass shit right there.
So, as a movie, even all the local yokels and everything are just normal people. They just dragged off the street. The people in the commune, the hippie commune, are just friends. And a young Bridget Fonda, Peter Fonda's daughter's first stint in front of the camera. Dennis Hopper was perceived to be an a-hole on set and fighting with everybody. And he had a 3 hour, 45-minute cut of this movie before people went... let's edit this down. I think Peter Fonda's dad, Henry, said, "You have got nothing here. It's a pile of shit."
Wow!
But in the long run, they got something.
I think there's a lot of interesting work in here. Some interesting camera work. I don't know if I'd go with it in future, but in a once-off movie, perhaps it's okay. Like the stuttering. Swap overs from scene to scene. It was weird.
It was weird. Jarring.
I liked that it was there. I'd never want to see it again. If that makes any sense.
That does make sense. Yeah. It was weird the first time. I was like, oh, is that a glitch?
Yeah. And then they use it to some weird effect later on where they use a mid-stutter. This is how they end up.
I was wondering, what the hell is that they're showing? Some fire on the side of the road?
Oh, yeah.
It's foretelling of...
It is. The foreshadowing. Pending doom.
Yeah. So I think this was just an idea they had. There was a loose script, sort of a la Curb Your Enthusiasm, but less funny. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, as I said, that budget was not spent on special effects or CGI back then.
Or actors. They only paid for themselves.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think Jack Nicholson got found from this. Not found, but he got his big role from an Italian director after this. And
he's so good in this, though. As soon as he's on the screen, you're like, yeah, there's Jack.
He's very good. And he's only in the movie for 27 minutes, I read.
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's so good. He's got this southern drawl, but just kind of unique character to him.
I love the helmet he wears as well when he's on the back of the bike. and his expression to go with it is just priceless.
Yeah, I heard the motorbike they're on, the Captain America's motorbike, was such a beast, and he broke Peter Fonda's rib or something, like with his knees trying to hold on because it was so off balance.
There's a ridiculously large bike, yeah.
I'm sure there are so many documentaries or behind the scenes stories about this. I think there's lots of defamation suits and just lots of stories around this movie.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. It's incredibly surprising that neither of us had seen this before. It's super well known. It's super liked. Kind of shocking.
So I think it stands in the era of American cinema history for what it was. Has it diminished its power over the decades as a tour de force? It means something, But maybe if you smoked a lot of dope, maybe it means a lot more to you then. Or from the 60s. I think a lot, I read a few reviews from users on IMDb, I think, and it was like, man, this is really, I was growing up in the 60s and this was, this was trippy, man.
Yeah, it seems to me like a cultural snapshot of America at that time, just
Yeah.
before the 60s imploded and 70s came along.
I believe it was shot in between JFK's assassination and Woodstock.
Oh, wow.
So,
Small events.
yeah, you're dealing with a crazy part of history, American history, and probably global history there.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can imagine the impact that it had from viewers that were into that sort of thing,
We're baked at the time.
who were baked at the time, long-haired hippies versus normies.
Yeah, yeah. It's like growing up in Cooley.
Had a bit of deliverance about it in the cafe scene, diner scene.
Yeah. It's kind of an uncomfortable scene, though, isn't it? I'm guessing that's another ad-lib scene.
Everything's ad-libbed. I think they said they were actually shooting for real in some town, and these lads were across the road actually really giving them grief. And then they said, yeah, get into the movie. If you're going to do it, get into the movie.
You're going to be assholes. We're going to get money out of it.
Yeah. And so they came in and they said, listen, these characters in the movie have just assaulted a woman outside, so just give them hell when you're slating them. So
Wow.
they did. I thought they were really good.
They were very good. There was a lot of it was kind of dark. It was intimidating. It was scary. It's great.
It actually really was for a movie that really, I don't know. It's a weird movie. I think you just said before we came on air. It's a weird movie to evaluate and
It's
review.
like nothing I have seen before in that it doesn't follow any genre. Not really. You could say it's a buddy movie. It's not though. It's a road movie, but it's not as well. It's a lot going on. I like it. It's a lot going on for something where nothing much happens for the vast majority of the movie.
Yeah, true. It's a road trip. It's fueled by drug use. And I think if you're into American history in the 60s and drug taking, then you'll like it. And choppers and American choppers, I guess. Is that a chopper? Don't know.
That's a chopper.
Get
This
the
motorcyclist
chopper.
is not a motorcycle, honey. It's a chopper.
Whose chopper is this?
Zed, baby.
Zed. Who's Zed?
Zed's dead.
Zed's
baby.
dead, baby.
Brum,
Zed's
brum,
dead.
brum. Sorry.
Classic. Well, anyway, Dennis Hopper directed it. He didn't. Well, he directed a couple after this, but nothing really. He played Bowser in Super Mario Brothers, right? Wasn't that him that did it?
That was Jack Black. Oh, you mean in the really shit?
The original one.
Yeah, I don't know. I wiped that from my memory banks as much as possible. That was one of the worst movies I've ever, unfortunately, have seen.
I have a connection with one of his movies personally.
You were in it?
No, but every time I think of his name and him, I think of the movie he was in called Space Truckers, with I think Ethan Hawke. I don't remember.
Seen that. I haven't seen that for a reason because it sounds shite.
Anyway, it was filmed in Ireland.
Ah, okay.
And
You were in it.
I was not in it.
Damn it.
In primary school, I think I was in my last year in primary school. Somebody came in that worked on it and had a little space truck with them, and they had worked in the studio or something.
Cool.
And my last year in primary school, I think, was 92, and the Space Truckers didn't come out in 95, so I'm just trying to work it out in my brain. What the hell happened? Did it take them 3 years to animate everything before the movie was released? I guess back then it probably was, and it was Irish as well, so they probably took lots of breaks and sat around leaning on shovels and stuff. Yeah, anyway, so I've never watched Space Truckers, but
okay.
I watched the trailer for it when I saw his name pop up and go, yeah, I always just remember Space Truckers.
Yeah, yeah. I'd imagine it's really good.
Yeah, most likely not. So I got two Oscar nominations. One for Jack Nicholson, of course, and then one for the actual writing. Which
What writing?
yeah, they got a lot of plaudits for it. I don't think they realized how loose it was, and
There was no writing. It was just three lads baked.
in real
In real
time.
life, yeah. The rough idea of what each scene was going to be, and then they just sat there and smoked weed, and that was it.
Yeah. There's a very loose narrative around the entire thing. It's so Wyatt Peter Fonda, who's actually just Captain America throughout the entire movie, and Billy, played by Dennis Hopper. They score a bit of cocaine down in Mexico at the start of the movie, and the entire movie is them carrying the cocaine in their fuel tank.
No, they
So,
sold the cocaine. They got the cash at
oh,
the
the
airport.
cash. Sorry, yeah, at the airport from Phil Spector
Yeah.
in a weird
But they're kind
outfitted
of
car.
they're basically rich at this point, or it's implied that they're set for life with that deal.
Right, yeah. Where are they going?
They're going to New Orleans, baby.
Why?
That's their goal. They're going to New Orleans because
Hedonism.
New Orleans, you know.
Nolines.
There was no real goal to what they're doing. I think it's just they're out of their bin most of it, and they're just driving around. They didn't have the bikes until they got the made the coke deal. So I think it's implied that they buy them at that point.
Yeah. We must say, so this is the pre-credits is the coke deal, and then it's the handover and getting paid by the runway with all the airplanes go overhead, which is quite a well produced shot and scene.
I love the nose. I've never seen a nose spoon before.
You haven't watched a lot of cocaine movies then.
I haven't, unfortunately. Special spoons specifically for your nose.
I've certainly seen them. Oh, I must tell you a narrative then. I know people don't wait around. I was already told one narrative, but we lived in Helsinki for 2 years in an apartment, and it was furnished and everything. We didn't move anything in. The day or week before we left, we started just cleaning up stuff, and we cleaned up the cupboards in the kitchen, and something in the back of the cupboard, little leather pouch, opened it up, just full of drug paraphernalia, little drug spoon, little mirror, little cutter. I saw pictures of the apartment before I got there, and it was like a music DJ, so it made perfect sense to me.
Are we talking about a drug spin here? Are we talking about like heroin shit?
No, because there's a little chopper, so I'm guessing it's cocaine. It's just like, and there's a little mirror as well. So, lots of connections to this movie. I never took coke in my life.
More of a Pepsi guy, me.
Yeah, tab clear. we must note that obviously there's no dialogue, there's much, if any, at the start before the credits start rolling, and then we get the start of this amazing soundtrack.
Oh, it just kicks in. Lemmy, baby. Born to be Wild.
Well, it's I Shazammed every song that came up, so I know who the name and the artist. And the first song is "The Pusher" by Steppenwolf.
Oh, Steppenwolf, yes.
Yeah, and then we have a little montage of them under Choppas. We have the first intro of a lot of the weird flash cuts, transitions that Hopper probably didn't have anything to do with. Maybe he did, I'm not sure. And then we have Born to be Wild by Steppenwolf. Didn't know, yeah, great tune, and really just really relative to motorbikes, and it's synonymous with cycling, motorbikes now.
Yeah, it kind of just screams about the freedom that the lads are trying to get by just heading onto the highway.
Looking for adventure.
Exactly. And whatever comes their way. I know, it really does set it. And it's just, I didn't know it was in the movie, this song. I don't know. It's probably not written specifically for they probably just grabbed it.
It's not, and here's another innovative thing that this movie did. So this is one of the first movies, if not the first movie, where the soundtrack is all pre-released songs. Movies didn't do that back in the 60s, apart from the Beatles movies, obviously.
Well, yeah.
But
I didn't realize this is one of the first to actually... And it uses these songs to great effect. It really does.
Oh yeah, they picked the perfect songs for the perfect times mostly it's during Tropa riding, but there's a couple of weird songs as well in certain parts. We do get an initial sort of vibe check when they get turned away from the motel, vacancy to no vacancies. They're long-haired druggies, and normies don't like them.
That's it. Nobody wants no hippies here, which is weird. Yeah. Because they're kind of reasonably chill individuals. Maybe not Billy, but
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The next note I have is one of the first campfire scenes, pretty much interspersed like chapters throughout the movie are these campfire scenes, and you get an initial first look at them. Hopper is your typical stoner, like, man, hip to the max, man.
He's substantially more aggressive than the White slash Captain America character, though.
Fonda is chill. That's what I wrote down.
Yeah,
He's chill. He does get high, but he's chill.
yeah. Whereas Hopper gets a bit paranoid, consistently paranoid, and sometimes he's right to be bloody paranoid.
Quite. I did see some similarities and connections to Withnail and I, just a little.
Yeah, the lads
Nothing.
are big into the substance abuse.
Yeah, I wouldn't say these guys are as bad as Withnail.
No, no, these guys actually seem nice. Even Billy seems like a reasonable guy, but especially Wyatt, he seems really, live and let live type guy. Whitnell, more about effing people over and getting what he can out of them.
Yeah, he's a bit more selfish. Uh, they have a flat tire and go to a farmhouse and they have dinner with this massive family with this guy. What did you think of that? Because Wyatt, aka Captain America, I'm just calling him Wyatt from now on. It takes
Wyatt,
too
yeah.
long to say everything. He's sort of pepping up the guy, saying, "Hey, man, you got to cool here. This is, I mean it, man. It's cool. This place
Yeah,
is
because
cool."
the farmer in question,
Yeah,
he's like, he's downplaying what he's got in life. And Wyatt's like, no, man, no. What you got here, you should be proud of what you got. And he means it. He genuinely means it, which is nice. And it's this, redneck scene compared to what happens later on, it's quite a contrast.
yeah, yeah. Uh, we have "Wasn't Born to Follow" by the Birds for the next
Great
montage.
tune.
Great tune. Never heard of it before. Pick Up a Hitchhiker, who's another hippie.
Yeah, we never get his name. I think the character is just called Stranger in the credits.
Is he not
Highway Stranger.
Jesus?
No, no,
Or who's Jesus?
Jesus is the guy
Jesus?
doing the drug deal in the start, I thought.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I don't know who
I will
does.
double check.
Maybe it's Stranger. Like, I'm just checking Metacritic. Stranger on Highway. That's probably Luke
That's the
Askew.
dude, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Jesus was the drug dealer. God, yeah, this must be
Yeah,
by
Antonio
appearance.
Mendoza.
That's right. It doesn't have a profile picture, so I'm guessing he didn't do much. Uh, yeah, so he pays for the gas when they go to the
Which is
gas
sound,
station,
yeah.
which is nice. But Billy's all uh, paranoid and hyper.
Paranoid about the money.
Money's
Because
in the tank.
yeah, I'm with Billy. There's a shed load of money in there, and this complete unknown is sticking his hands all over it.
Yeah. We have that little scene. And we're back on the road with "The Wait" by the band. That's a great song.
Look, that is a just ridiculously good song, let's be honest.
Yeah. Very good. And so we have vistas of everything. Do you know what those land masses are called? Geographically, not the actual names of them.
You want me to talk about rocks?
Yes, I do, because I know it and I want to pass my stupid knowledge to you.
Hit me with your stupid knowledge.
Boots.
Boots.
Butts. Boots.
Boots. Wow, that's a great name for something.
Yeah, the ones that
Boots.
like stick out just vertically.
That look kind of like boots.
Well, I don't know if that's or butts.
Butts, more like butts.
Yeah. So they have another fire talk and
Yeah,
Mardi Gras baby. They're heading to Mardi Gras baby.
yeah. This
And
time
then
they got their hiker with them. They're the stranger on the
yeah,
highway.
the stranger is with them, and so Billy keeps on asking, "Where are you from, man?" He never answers. He's just
I'm from a city, man. They're all the same.
they're all the same. He says something about what did he say about Porky Pig? It's like, "What's your name?" or "What's your
Oh, Billy asked him if you could be anybody in the world, who would you be?
Porky Pig?"
I wouldn't mind trying Porky Pig. And Wyatt's like, I like being me, man.
Do you think that the whole ad lib script suffers at times? Could have been a better movie if they'd actually planned out a stoned conversation, like let's say Tarantino could do.
I think you'd lose the uniqueness of the movie if you did that.
I wouldn't do it now. I'm just saying for '69 movie.
No,
Would it?
I think they were better off leaving it as is because let's be honest, Hopper and his director directorial debut is kind of like the best thing he's ever done from that point of view. So I think to make something unique and that is known by pretty much everybody on the planet, they achieved that by not actually writing the script. I
Yeah.
think this is a win. I put this in the W column. I think if they'd actually written a hard and fast script, it could have strongly diminished this movie. Especially if they're going to be baked while they're ad libbing, you know. I think that if they weren't going to be baked, you couldn't have done it.
Yeah. I think it's just right place, right time for this type of movie.
Yeah.
Just the perfect era. So they head to the commune, and it's a sort of
It's a real
weird
commune.
situation. Commune?
Commune, yeah.
It's a real commune.
Yeah, and then there's a row.
Another name for a boot, commune.
Yeah, it's a real commune apparently, and real life hippies.
Yeah, they grabbed people from random communes. Yeah, they've got a mime troupe. They're planting crops in sand. There's just a bunch of.
I think 6 months down the line, everybody's dead.
Yeah, we do have this sort of unique pan of faces going around, and
Half of them are like spaced out. Some people are kind of grinning. Some people are just grumpy looking. It's weirdly, I like it. I don't think I'd normally like it. For some reason, it kind of works. Kind of quirky.
it goes on for a while.
It does go on for like a minute.
Faces after faces. It's basically, if you think about it, it's a cameraman in the middle of a circle and it's just going around. And yeah, for the time, I'm guessing it was cool.
Yeah.
It was it's still kind of unique to me too. It's fine.
I think we spend too long in the commune. I could do it less time there.
Yeah, just see, that's the thing though. This is what I'm getting at. Is there any reason for any of the scenes in the movie?
No.
Does it develop anything?
I think a lot of the pointless scenes are kind of the point, though. You know, they have no. While they have a quest, which is to find freedom or some such nonsense, most of the time they're just bouncing between situations.
Yeah, there's no arc.
Yeah, this is a weird movie in that respect. There is no arc. They have fun and games for a while, and then the consequences of it is at the very end. There is no arc. It's a cliff.
So what makes this movie memorable? Soundtrack,
Very
ad-lib
much so.
dialogue.
Yeah, the dialogue's at times fantastic.
And I guess just the fact that it came out at that era and it fit in nicely to a niche.
And it's the movie that brought us Jack, which is, in my opinion, very important. He's a fantastic character actor, and his plasticine face is just amazing.
So this commune again, like it's just it's a thing that happens to them. They go skinny dipping. The Billy goes towards a sort of area, and they stop him with a cross. And who sent you? Was said to him, and he just basically go, "Got to get out of here, man." So
yeah, a bit of paranoia. Then they go skinny dipping for some reason.
Yeah, they went skinny dipping after that bit, and then on they head, right?
Yeah, and then they leave the commune and they hit the road again. But then we're quickly into a built-up area, a town, and for some reason they decided to drive their bikes through a marching band as part of a parade. That doesn't end well for them, or does it?
One bit before they leave the commune, though, the leader says, "At the right place, at the right time, quarter this up, baby."
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they used it at the right time later on, but
a little bit of crystal meth, speed. Probably LSD though.
God knows, but yeah, that level of trippiness, yeah.
So as you say, yes, they for some reason just go down a parade route and get chucked into jail,
which is kind of fortuitous because they meet somebody in said prison, a lad called George, lovely guy.
George,
he is a lovely guy.
He is actually really funny and jovial and nice.
Very friendly. He helps them out. He gets them out of prison. Because the cops don't like them because they've got long hair. But this guy, he is from the same background as the cops, but he's got a different perspective on life.
Yeah, he's a lawyer and he's I think he understands that he has a relationship with the bottle, and maybe
Substance abuse, yeah.
sees some sort of kinship with these hippies and freedom that he wants.
Uh,
And
and I love. I'm assuming that Jack was given the chance to ad lib his lines as well. How he speaks in this is just so colorful. It's so great.
yeah, it is very good. He stands out because, to be honest with you, Wyatt and Billy don't really have a lot of sentences to say, lines to say, because I'm guessing they just let Jack, when he was in the movie,
Why wouldn't you
take it
let
away.
him? You know, he shines in like they're damn good actors. And then Jack turns up and like, oh, that's all you see.
Yeah,
Bloody amazing.
I like that Billy's first interaction with George is one of, again, anxiety and paranoia
Paranoia,
and
yeah.
hatred of him. Shut the hell up. I love the
Ginger's great
way
though.
George just yawns. He makes this weird yawn, and it's just very good. It goes along the lines with the noises he makes after he takes a swig of booze as well. What is it? Yip yip,
Yep,
hey
yep.
hey, or something. Yeah,
It's great. It makes no sense, and it works for that. It works with his character.
yeah, for sure. Anyway, they get helped out by
Yeah,
Mr. Hanson, Mr.
he's a
George.
lawyer apparently, and
He's a
he's
lawyer.
friends with the cops, mostly because he bribes them a lot by the sound of it.
So when he's talking to the cops at the end when they're leaving, I had such a flashback to Office Space, because one of the officers is Bob, and George just says something. Oh, thanks a lot, Bob. And the two cops are just standing there, staring at George, just like the two Bobs in Office Space are staring at the main protagonist in Office Space. And I just wonder if I didn't even look it up today, but it was just so similar with the way they were just smiling, looking at him as if they really liked him, like they do like the main guy in Office Space. It was just weird.
Yeah, now you mention it, I remember that scene from Office Space, and it does
What do you
parallel it
say
quite.
you do here? Well, Bob.
Such a great scene.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, outside,
this is
first
where
of the day.
he gets his first of the day. This is where we get the. I'm not even going to try to do his catchphrase squeaky thing or whatever it is, but he makes a bunch of weird noises,
Yep, yep.
hikes his
Something like
elbow
that.
up, yip yip yip, and then he gets another great one later on, where screaming swamp for some reason.
Because they were stoned.
It's great. Swamp.
I would like to go to New Orleans with you. You got a helmet? Oh, I've got a helmet.
He does. And it's so ridiculous. Like, I've never really seen Jack Nicholson doing comedy before, and this isn't really comedy. It's character
No.
acting, but it's hilarious at times.
Character acting with a bit of highness.
Yeah, yeah.
So he chucks his American football helmet on. He looks like a dork. They travel down the road, and we've got this bird song by the Holy Modal Rounders, and it's a weird
I had
song.
not heard this song before.
No, no. So they have their big campfire scene here, which is a whole diatribe about UFOs because George is taking his first joint ever, and so
So good. Oh, it's so
yeah,
good.
it's a typical stoner UFO conspiracy.
They're among us, man. But they're
Among
so.
us, man.
What is? Oh, what's the phrase? Oh, yeah, because our way of life is so antiquated that we can't be told about them because we'd all just panic. So the powers that be won't let us know until we're ready, and they're breeding with us.
Everywhere, man.
The Venusians, man.
The Venusians, yes. And I love the way there's a certain point when he's talking about UFOs and it cuts to Peter Fonda and he just looks up randomly at the sky. And I just thought that was a very
Nice cut.
funny
Yeah.
cut. I'm guessing they were looking through the footage and went, oh, that looks
Glue
good
that in there.
there.
That's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Slot that in there. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Crackpot ideas.
Yeah.
George
Yeah,
is all,
Billy's having none of it.
at the end, I think Peter or Wyatt or American Wyatt goes, how's your joint, George?
It's a good point because I think at this point Jack probably has been in real life just chatting for like 5 minutes without stopping. The other guy's like, shut up.
I think I read there was two takes, and he was in the middle of his diatribe about UFOs. The second take came along, and he just continued, and everybody's going, "Jesus, that's pretty good."
Brilliant.
We also have a "Don't Bogart Me" by the Fraternity of Man.
Don't bogart that joint. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a very popular song in frat houses in the 60s and maybe in 70s and 80s too.
Yeah, they have more nice scenery. The lads are driving the bike. And then it goes straight into Jimmy.
Jimmy, if 6 was 9, Jimmy.
What a tune.
Makes that guitar weep.
Certainly does.
So they head to Louisiana.
Yeah.
They're on the outskirts, and this is the sort of cafe scene. Again, mirroring with Neil and I, but a bit more sinister.
Way more sinister. This ain't great for the lads.
No.
Bunch of young girls sitting at a table.
Yeah.
They sit at a table close by.
Mm-hmm.
They notice the girls notice them. But unfortunately, there are more people in the cafe. The sheriff,
the worst person probably.
and sheriff's goon friend, and a few other lads. They don't take kindly to that type of folk around here.
No, if there was a piano, the piano would have stopped when they walked in. The girls are obviously not actors, and they're playing it cool too, because it was just like real life. There was just like, yeah, we'll just point a camera at you, and you just try and flirt with these guys, and it was just very real. And I thought the local yokels were excellent because they were just real as well.
Yeah, a bit very Deliverance.
Very Deliverance. Mm-hmm. I like the way George is saying, yeah, it's all just country witticisms. It was quite a nice way of putting it. But
but they decide, feck this. This is getting a bit heavy.
Let's split.
Yeah.
The girls come out chasing him, and then I think George goes, "Yeah, the man is at the window." They're
the
like,
man is at the window.
I think one of his goons said, "Oh, doubt they'll make it past the parish line," and
he's not wrong, especially for George.
It's not wrong. And the next scene. This is where they have a few drinks, or he has a few drinks, a few tokes, and does the swamp thing. Swamp. Something about bullfrogs and.
Yeah, did you ever talk to a bullfrog in the
just total stoner?
Moonlight?
They're all just high as kites.
Yeah,
we sort of have a hard cut, and it's just somebody beating the shit out of them all over their blankets.
Yeah, I'm not sure why the people left. I do remember Billy pulls a knife, and then everybody else the bad guys are gone. I'm not sure. Did they run because of the knife or whatever? But it's too late at this point. Anyway, Georgie Boy is toast.
Yeah, we sort of see a mid shot of him with sort of weird blood on his face. Doesn't look that good, but
no.
But it's quite dramatic. George Nicholson. That's the mixture between his real name and his character name.
He got Jack that Nicholson. Involved. He changed his name.
Yeah, he's in the movie for a mere 17 minutes.
Crikey, that's how much he impacts this movie, and it's only 17 minutes. Is insane.
So we don't really see a lot of reaction from the two lads. It's not that type of movie. I don't think they'd be able to act it because they're just that stoned anyway.
What I think is interesting is when they do get to New Orleans, they kind of portray Billy, who keeps speaking the way he normally does, but he doesn't behave as somebody who's right after that. They're in the house, the Maison Derrière.
Yeah. Just before we get there, because I promise I would say every song's name before they get there. There's a song called Kyrie Ellis and Mardi Gras by the Electric Prunes.
I missed that one, but it's a great name for a band.
It's a great name for a band. Never heard of it. But yeah, they're in the ladies' house.
Yeah, and they're getting a couple of ladies.
Yes.
Two. They get two ladies, but the two lads aren't that into it. Even Billy, who's, you would have thought would have went, oh, what the hell, let's go for it. He's saying all the right things, and then he's like, he's still upset that his friend just got killed. And if he wasn't, and they didn't try to act that a little bit, it would have seemed really stupid.
Yeah, they have a couple of terrible makeup bruises on their face, but nothing really is a carry-on from George's death, really. So it's not that type of movie, I guess.
No, but they do something kind of weird, kind of a nice little scene where they go on a date with the hookers.
Let's head outside to the parade, and
Yeah,
it's all shot in grainy footage.
yeah. But the first bit of it is, and then it switches to daytime parade after being the nighttime parade. Was it? I'm not sure. The
I
lighting
think,
kind of
yeah,
has me confused somewhat, and the sequence is a bit off, maybe.
I think they just party all night or something. I guess
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. They end up in a cemetery, and this is where it becomes this sort of art house montage for the next couple of minutes because they take some acid and it goes nuts.
Yeah, it's trippy, and then it goes trippy squared. It just really goes for it, and everybody's saying their own dialogue off into their own little corners, and it's the characters aren't really interacting that much anymore. It's just everybody's
Yeah.
off on their own little trip.
Yeah, there's like a prayer voiceover, and I think Peter Fonda was told by the producer or script writer or something, just pretend you're talking to your mother who died beforehand when you're
I
at the
love you. I
statue.
hate you. I love
Exactly.
you.
I think she killed herself or something.
Oh
So it was,
wow. Okay.
yeah. So it was that sort of, yeah. So we have
I'll be honest. We could do without this trip scene. It's not long, so it's not really a major imposition. It's a bit much, but I suppose it fairly reflects being completely and utterly out of your bin.
yeah, from if you think about acid trips scenes throughout the history of cinema, it's up there with the the best of them, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh, it's chaotic. Flash Bam Pow by the Electric Flag is played. Maybe after I think it's just a concoction of noise when they're going through
yeah.
their trip. Again, what's the point?
There
Is
isn't
it
any
the
real point to what they're
is it
doing.
is it again like with Nail and I? It's like a crescendo of madness, and then you're sort of like tapering off. They're around a campfire in the next scene, and Billy's like very optimistic. We did it. We're rich,
We're rich.
and
We
Wyatt
blew
goes,
it. We blew it. I'm going to
"We
sleep
blew
now.
it." Yeah, so it's all right, Ma. I'm only bleeding by Roger McGuinn is played, and
Very good.
they're motorbiking along the next day, and
Not for very long, though.
no, two yokels in a truck goes, look at the ginks. I don't know where ginks come from. I'm a bit naive about that word.
No idea what that means.
Hopefully it doesn't get me cancelled. But the guy
I've
thinking,
never heard it before. I have.
no, I guess the guy in the passenger seat said, all right, let's have a look at this shotgun. See if we can.
Yeah, he says to the other guy, pull up close to these guys, let's scare them. And then he shoots him. Shoots Billy.
Shoots Billy. Wyatt heads on, turns around, goes back, and says, I'm going to get help.
Yeah.
But then he meets the other truck, and then you kind of see it in slow motion going towards and meeting it, and he gets shotgunned off too.
Yep.
Previously, when did he flash forward to that
That
fire again?
was, I think I was somewhere in New Orleans. I think that's when they were leaving
Maybe it's with the girls at the start or something. When he's just sort of thinking about things, he flashed
Yeah, it
forward.
was definitely New Orleans. Whether it was
Yeah.
leaving New Orleans or in New Orleans, I can't really remember. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was foreshadowed.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was looking at though, but so they end up just being shotgunned to death at the side of a road, and it's sort of
It's very sudden.
it's sudden,
Game over, man.
and I think it puts the icing on the cake of a pretty crazy, non-meaningful plot.
Yeah, and I appreciate how much it doesn't follow any formula. This movie, like it doesn't match what would traditionally be considered a decent. There's no arc, as you said earlier. There's no arc. It's just loads of stuff happens. Dead.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no character development. It's I think we tried to sort of explain it already. It's just sort of it is what it is. And I hate that phrase, but it is what it is.
I think in this instance, I think it's good that it is what it is. I like its uniqueness. There's a lot of 99.9999% of the movies we see nowadays is just the same old crap rehashed in different forms. This is not rehashing of anything. This is possibly because
Yeah,
everybody was baked in the process of it. This is different, and
I think
I like it for its uniqueness. I'll never watch it again.
yeah, it's not something that is quotable apart from maybe some Jack Nicholson stuff,
This
but it's not
UFO
really.
stuff is,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
beyond that, yeah,
yeah. Uh, so, like, I'm thinking about plot, and we had the discussion around Whitnell and I
yeah.
think. Yeah, Whitnell and I think we had a
If you were to
plot.
score the plot without dialogue, it's a 1
Yeah,
because nothing happens. Not well, that's unfair, but not much happens. But the dialogue is good. Now
yeah, it's
I've got
sparse
a
though.
sparse, but I think that's fine in this movie because the road movie
Mimi.
style of it lets you have no dialogue. Let the music carry you along with the guys on the bike, and that's okay. That works. I'm okay with music video elements to this. It worked for me in that respect. So I give the plot, while not a massive score, 2.75.
That's exactly what I put down.
So it's not a great plot because there's sort of all depth to this.
Yeah, and I think as we did mention, like we are taking into account a script when we think about plot, and because it's ad lib and they hit sometimes, they miss some
Yeah,
other
yeah,
times.
which is fair.
There's not a lot that happens. There's no arc. There's no redemption arc. There's no timeline that plots along nicely. There's
Yeah,
no real, any great movies. I'll go, oh, great, this next scene's coming up. Like I can't look forward. If I watch it again, I can't really look forward to the commune scene. There's no real good
just the
stuff.
UFO scene.
UFO scene's up there at the top. Like if there's a graph, it's like pretty much flatlining. UFO scene, diner scene is quite good up there. Getting to Louisiana, the trip scene is not enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm giving acting 3.25, and I'm giving that because of Jack Nicholson. I think I think Peter Fonda just dials it in. He's quite laid back. They're all stoned out of their heads in real life, so I'm sort of punishing them for being druggies.
That said, I think Hopper does a good job here. I think Hopper second best priest. Like Jack's just fantastic in this though. I give it 4 because
Ooh.
if I chop off the rest of the movie and just leave the Jack scenes, it's a masterclass. And this is his first outing. Bloody hell.
Yeah. I'm going to go nuts with the soundtrack. I'm giving 4.5. I had it at 4.25, but I'm giving 4.5. Like I was looking forward to each segue between scenes just to see what the next song was. And I knew I would either know it or I'd jive with it, man.
I only dropped the 4 and listen, 4 is good. Music here is brilliant. Yeah, the reason I'm kind of dropping it is because of I can't remember the name of the song now. The one that fades into the Jimi Hendrix song.
It is.
Don't Bogart.
Don't Bogart me. Yeah, don't Bogart me. You hate it.
There's no fading, and that just jars. I don't know if it was intentional. It just goes bang, Jimmy. That's annoying, and it annoyed me enough to drop it a couple of parts of a point.
That's another byproduct of trying to cut a 3 hour and 45 minutes edition to an hour and a half or so. What is it? 1 hour, 35 minutes. So a lot of these things are a product of what it was and Dennis Hopper's maniac way of doing things.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, let's bring in the sound of the motorbikes. That's cool. That's part of Sound Brackets track.
It
They're
is,
cool.
and it adds to it. It's
pretty cool.
It's a lovely sound. It would be nice to be tootling along there on
tootling.
I'm not sure that's what they
It's
call
not it's not a Honda 50cc
or a penny farthing.
Penny farthing. Tring tring. Yeah.
No, it's a nice sound, and it does kind of bring you there.
How did you ever get off a penny farthing anyway?
Painfully.
I've seen people like drop down the back or something, but it's like, what the hell? It's going to.
You literally have to jump and then catch the bike on the way down. I have seen people do it. It's stupid.
Yeah, and like a little kid. Oh, here's your penny farthing. Good luck. We had no stabilizers back in that day. Back in the day,
Interesting bikes.
I like penny farthings. They intrigue me. I give production 3.25. I'm not going to go anywhere near 4 because I just think the willy nilly drug induced production kind of affects it. I think it could be. I don't know. I don't want to say it could be a lot better.
No,
It's good. It's
I don't
good.
want the movie to be better. I like it the way it is. I give it 3.
Hmm.
Again, as you say, it's a bit scrappy because of people being melted. Um, it's as good as it's going to get in production wise if you can't even see the camera.
Yeah, I'll look back on it with fondness. I appreciate its stance and its position in American cinema history, and I'm glad I watched it.
Yep, same
And
as.
the fact that it wasn't 3 hours is a godsend as well. So I'm pretty happy with that too.
Yes, it was the right length for what it was.
Yeah, for sure. Robert Rottenberg in USA Today in 2004 reviewed it, saying he gave it 50 out of 100. He said, looked at from the vantage point of more than 3 decades later, the movie is frequently incoherent. The dialogue sounds like it was being made up on the spot. Yeah, duh. Did you read about the history of it? And the acting is spotty in many cases. I don't think Robert Rottenberg understood the
Yeah,
assignment there.
he really doesn't. Yeah, yeah.
We, as two-bit idiots doing a podcast, researched more than he did, and he's a journalist.
We know how to work Google.
Yeah. Our old friend Roger Ebert in the Chicago Sun-Times, who I'll always read out if he appears up at the top or bottom, gave it 100. He said, someday it was inevitable that a great film would come along, utilizing the motorcycle genre the same way the great Westerns suddenly made everyone realize they were a legitimate American art form. Easy Rider is the picture.
Fair enough. A bit overly enthusiastic about it, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah, not bad. Anything else about it? I think I sort of said what I needed to say about it. It was a weird. I knew I would have to think about it to get my feelings and point across, but I think it's
Not the best movie in the world. I won't say I loved it, but if you're trying to make up your mind whether or not to watch it, I'd say watch it.
yeah, because
It's a seminal piece.
I think our averages are going to average mid 3.5s or so. So it's saying that we think it's a good movie.
It is a good movie. It's a very good movie. It's unique, and for that reason alone, it's a good reason to watch it.
So let's beat this episode around the head with a stick while we're sleeping in a sleeping bag in the middle of a desert. Maybe.
Or let's drive past it with a shotgun and then drive
Yeah.
back to finish it off.
Twice, yeah.
Twice.
Let's shotgun this episode in the face twice.
Nice.
All right, so we're getting up there towards episode 100. Stick around to see what we're going to do for that. We don't know yet, but it's going to involve some sort of retrospective things, and may even involve movie clips if I have the time and effort to actually include movie clips of our first 99 or so movies. Actually, it won't be 99 movies because we have some recaps in there, so do the math.
We won't be showing 99 clips.
No, we'll try to keep it at around an hour mark and make it a celebration of something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The worst and the best of what we've done so far.
A celebration of our midlife crisis project.
Well past midway now at this point, sorry.
Jesus Christ, don't remind me. All right, let's roll the dice for the next random movie for episode 97. And we are getting random movie number 15,821. We are definitely going into the plus part of our title here. And random movie number 15,821 is 2004's Catwoman.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I've never watched it.
I have. Oh, it's an abomination.
That's good.
It's one of the worst. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's watch that.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. It's such an awful movie. Halle Berry, like she is a great actress at times. She's done some great, amazing roles. This is awful.
She actually turned up for the Razzies to accept
Did she?
the Razzie for this one. That's what I remember from this movie.
Fair play to her. That takes cojones.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to it. It's only 1 hour, 44 minutes, so it's not going to do much of a job on us.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's right up there with Sharknado, though. It's
when you go to the Metacritic's website, it's got that telltale red colored banner because it's got a Metascore of 27 and a user score of 3.1. The summary from
3.1.
Warner,
Mad.
the summary from Warner Brothers is sleek, mysterious, dangerous, and sexy. Catwoman has never had any trouble captivating fans or making enemies. A sometime defender of the underdog, she isn't above breaking the law to achieve her own ends. Free to walk in both the dark and the light, she is superhero and arch villain all rolled into one.
Is she though?
Is she? So it's Halle Berry, as you said, Sharon Stone, Benjamin Bratt, and other people.
Compared to the character that was in Batman Returns, um, this is played by Michelle Pfeiffer, I think. This is
Yes, great.
but brilliantly done. This is awful. This just
I'm
no.
looking forward to watching this,
Oh, dude,
actually.
dude, you're gonna love how bad this is.
When's the last time you watched it?
Oh god, 20 years ago. Whenever it came out, I watched it because I'm a DC nerd back then. Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah. Good. All right, we're looking forward to it. All right, so that'll be episode 97 of 15K plus random movie reviews. If you're listening to this and haven't just clicked the star on whatever platform you're listening to us on, if you're on YouTube watching us, hello, then please like and subscribe and click the bell or whatever the hell you do and share us around. And we'll see you in episode 97 for Catwoman. Meow. Bye.
Right.